भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय।
भक्ति साम्राज में मनवुल कबेनो मनसाराम भक्ति साम्राज्य इलगनि विव बलेनु चल स्वानुभव वेद्य में लीला सृष्ट त्रयमन लीला सृष्ट जगत्रयमन कोलाहल त्यागराजनु दुडगु राम भक्ति साम्राज्य में मनवुल कबेनो मनसा राम भक्ति साम्राज्य। नमः परमर्षिभ्यो नमः परमर्षिभ्यः हरि ओम। अन्तरायतिमिरूपशान्ते शान्तपावनमचिन्त्य वैभवम् तन्नरं वपुषि कुञ्जरं मुखे मन्महे किमपि तुन्दिलं महः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। यस्यान्तन्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नामगोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो न नपुंसं न च स्त्रीं नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वं नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वरिशिष्टान्तेव सदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय यतये शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने। अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषां धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। कस्मै येन विभासितो यमतुलो ज्ञानप्रदीपः पुरा तद्रूपेण च नारदाय मुनये कृष्णाय तद्रूपिणाम् योगीन्द्राय तदात्मनाथ भगवद्राताय कारुण्यतः तच्छुद्धं विमलं विशोकममृतं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैः ईश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबद भागवतं रसं आलयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेदि तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतितितीर्षतां तमोन्धम् संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेदि तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिम् आनतोऽस्मि यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतितितीर्षदां तमोन्धम् संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नौमीड्यते अभ्रवपुषे तडिद् अम्बराय गुञ्जावतं सपरिपिच्छलसन्मुखाय वन्यस्रजे कपलवेत्रविषाणवेणुलक्ष्मश्रिये मृदुपदे पशुपाङ्गजाय। We are just going through contemplating on the Dashmaskandham, the 13th chapter of Dashmaskandham, where Brahma is doing a stuti to Bhagavan. All the Brahma stutis in Bhagavata are very profound, because he is the first Bhagavata who received this Vidya from Bhagavan. In the very first shloka, where Brahma says Taditambaraya Abhravapushe, he calls Bhagavan as Abhravapuh. He has the cloud-colored body. In fact, his very body is the infinite space. Akasha Shariram Brahma Satyatma Pranaramam Mana Anandam. The Shruti says Akasha Shariram. So the very infinite space is your body, O Bhagavan. And saying this, some very profound verses are there in this Brahmastuti. Brahma says, without bhakti, jnanam will not happen. That bhakti is always must be there. As Shankaracharya says in his Bhaja Govindam, Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhaktaha Samsarad Achirad Bhavamuktaha. If you have that abundant Guru Bhakti, one gets released from samsara so easily. So without that bhakti, if you try to attain jnanam, that pure awareness, it will be very only difficult. It will be like churning buttermilk. No curd will come. Curd is already gone. Butter is already eaten by the sages. What we get in the books is buttermilk. So simply only churning there, you will not get the butter. Shreyasrutim bhaktim udasyate vibho klishyanti ye kevalabodhalabdhaye tesham asau kleshalayeva shishyate nanyadhyatha sthulatushavaghatinam तथापि भूमन् महिमा अगुणस्यते विबोद्धुम् अर्हति अमलान्तरात्मभिः. But without jnanam, one will not get liberated. That sakshat aparoksha anubhava is necessary. And that aparoksha anubhuti comes when the mind becomes extremely pure. The mind becomes pure, of course, by karma yoga. But karma yoga also without bhakti not possible. Where will you offer the fruits? So karma yoga is bhakti yoga only. Without Bhagavat bhakti, karma yoga is also not possible. You have to offer everything to the divine. Then only it becomes karma yoga. Hence, in his Gita Bhashya, Ramanujacharya has translated, has commented all the karma yoga as bhakti yoga. That kainkarya, seva to Bhagavan. So the mind becomes pure, karma becomes purified, all the desires goes when you offer the fruit of action. Somewhere you have to offer. You generally offer the fruit of action to your own ego. So now you offer in the divine presence. Then it becomes purified. So to bhakti, yarhyabjanaba charaneshana yoru bhaktya. Very beautiful verse in Bhagavatam. We are bound in the world by eshana. Putreshana, vitteshana, dareshana, lokeshana. This eshana means something comes and sticks to you. In Tamil there is a usage, Ishikiradu. Ishiradu. Yeah. Means you go and stick to something. It comes from this. Something comes and sticks to you, you go and stick there. That is superimposition, what they call in Vedanta as adhyasa. You involve with something and something involves with you. This parasparadhyasa, that total merging. So this eshana is so strong in certain areas. That is why in Gita Bhagavan said, he did not say you should be anasakta about everything. Generally we say you should be unattached to everything. But we need not tell a person that you should not be attached about the well-being of American president. Because I am not concerned about him, I don't know him, there is no attachment. But where do we get attached? The ego, the aham vritti becomes very strong in certain areas. And that area, Bhagavan diagnoses and gives us the medicine. He says, asaktir anabhishwangaha putradara grihadishu. Generally for a family man, his progeny, his son or daughter, his wife, his house, his wealth, there lies his ego. And there lies his trouble also. So Bhagavan says, remain unattached there. Remain detached there. But the same attachment is an energy which has to be spent somewhere. So Bhagavan says, Bhagavata says, turn that attachment towards Ishvara. Yarhyabjana bhacharane shanayoru bhaktya, let Eshana be there. Be immensely attached there. Uru bhaktya, not a simple bhakti, it should be tremendous bhakti, immense devotion. Cheto malani vidhamet guna karmajani. All the dirt in the mind gets cleansed. Tasmin vishuddhe, when the mind becomes pure, upalabhyata atmatattvam. When the mind is sufficiently pure, one attains the atmatattva jnana. Sakshad yatha amaladrishoho savitru prakashaha. When the eye is clear, when there is no cataract problem there, timira is not there, you are able to see, then the splendorous sun that is shining forth is visible for you. Like that, the mind intuits the existence, the self within the heart, your own real nature very clearly gets intuited, recognized. So bhakti is inevitable. Bhakti purifies the deeper recesses of the mind. Saying this, Brahma has said, Upanishads are needed. Upanishads are the eyes with which you know Brahman. But Upanishad cannot be read in this electric light. Upanishad cannot be read in the sunlight also. It needs a light of a special sun. Pramana shloka for Vedanta Pata says, Guru Varko Palabdha Upanishatsu Chakshusha Yete Tarantiha Bhavanritam Buddhim. Guru is the Arka. A Shrotriya Brahmanistha Guru is there, and the light he throws, that is needed. Then the Upanishad becomes your eye to behold the Brahman. No. With that eye you look at the world, samsara. And Brahma says, the samsara that I have created, it will become a mirage. Anritam buddhi. It becomes a falsehood, unreal samsara sagara. It ceases to torture you. No more is there anything that can create any problem for you. All the problem has come because you have failed to know your real self. Atmanameva Atmatmataya Avijanatam Tenaiva Jatam Nikhilam Prapanchitam. Very perfect teaching. Brahma says, because you fail to know the self, this world is seen. When you know the self, there is no world. In deep sleep, every day we have the experience that the world is not there, the body is not there, the mind is not there. Every day the inner being is revealing the non-existence of body, mind, ego, world. And we are not losing anything. We say it was so happy, fulfilling. Every day you want to go there. It every day gives you the teaching that you are not going to lose anything by losing the body or the mind or the ego or the world. Their pure Atma Vastu is shining forth. When you know, you realize the self, then you can work in the world. Yesterday I read a very interesting anecdote about Shivanji Maharaj. He gave some serious service work for our Swamiji Krishnanandaji. And Swamiji was completely involved in that work. Suddenly one day he called Krishnanji and told him, telling some place above, a lonely place, a solitude, where there is a cottage. He said, you go there and for some days stay there and meditate. Live in Bhiksha and meditate. Krishan Swamiji said, Swamiji, so much work is here to be completed. You have given me so much work that has to be completed. Shivan Swami said, what work? There is no world. Go. He told to work, and now he said, what work? There is no world. Go. Where is the world? So, tenaiva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam. The prapancham is seen because you have failed to know the self. The moment you know the self, jnanena bhuyopi cha tat praliyate. The moment you have the jnanam, see, people will wonder whether I am saying Krishna Katha. This is Krishna Katha. This is Dashamaskandam, where Brahma is, generally you know, in that flood of Krishna Katha, all these things will go. But here, anyway I am not going to complete. So freely I am talking. Jnanena cha bhuyopi tat praliyate. When the jnanam comes, the world disappears. Rajvam aher bhoga bhava bhavav. Just like a serpent in the rope disappears when you bring light and see the rope, the serpent is not there. Like that, the moment you look at yourself, your real nature, the world, body, everything ceases to exist. Then you come to know that samsara and samsara nivritti are all mere delusion. The self is ever shining forth. Day and night are there only in the earth. There is neither day or night in the sun. And Brahma says, Ajnana samjnau bhava bandha mokshau. Dvau nama nanyau staha ritatnya bhavat. That nyaha, that jnapti, that awareness, it is ever free. Ajasrachiti. That incessant awareness. Atmani kevale pare. In that pure self, vicharyamani, when you do atma vichara, taranau iva ahani. Tarani is sun, Surya. There ahani means day and night. Day and night becomes insignificant in the sun. Like that, bandha and moksha, bondage and freedom becomes meaningless in one's real nature. So, enquire, tvamatmanam paramatva paramatmanamevacha atma punar bahirmrigyaha aho ajnajanata ajnata. These ignorant people are searching, not knowing the Atman, seeking pleasure outside. Antarbhave ananta bhavantameva hi atatyajanto mrigayanti santaha. Tattvamasi. The Shruti says Tat Tvamasi. And how do they attain that Tat? By giving up the Atat. That which is not Tat they remove and Tat remains. Antarbhavenanta bhavantameva hyatatyajanto mrigayanti santaha. Asantamapi anti ahim antarena sandam gunam tam kimuyanti santaha. All these were said by Brahma. Then suddenly he looked at the children playing with Krishna and said, Aho bhagyam nanda gopa vrajogasam yanmitram paramanandam purnam brahma sanatanam. Thus he worshipped. Then he also wanted to have a Nama Sankirtanam. All Mahatmas, they do a Nama Sankirtanam. Other day we told about Sadashiva Brahmendra. Bruhi mukundeti rasane, bruhi mukundeti. Very sweet Nama. Achyudam, Keshavam, Ramanarayanam, Krishna Damodaram. Very simple. So Brahma also wrote a Nama Sankirtana, only Nama, but you try to chant it. Brahmaji's Nama Sankirtanam, just hear it. Shri Krishna Vrishnikula Pushkara Joshadayin Kshma Nirjara Dvija Pashuda Dhivrdhikarin Uddharma Sharvara Harakshiti Rakshasadruk Akalpam Arkam Arhan Bhagavan Namaste. You need not go to any dentist. You just by heart this verse and chant it, the teeth will naturally fall. Loose teeth will fall. And he did that. Then there is again a discussion between Parikshit and Shuka, where Parikshit asks how people are so attached to Krishna. Actually, this question reveals why people are attached to an illumined soul, an enlightened being. Here, Bhagavan is Avatara Purusha and a Jivan Mukta. The essence is same. So here, Shukacharya says, Parikshit, people always they are attached only to themselves. It looks as if they are attached to others, but only when they see their reflection, their mindness, they are attached there. Whether to son or wife or wealth or house or religion or country, it is all mine, mine, mine. Then only that attachment comes. While all these devotees are attached to Krishna because know this Krishna as the real self. Krishnam enam avehitvam atmanam akhilatmanam. He is the Atma. As he says in Gita, Aham Atma Gudhakesha. That is why everyone is attached to him, and there is a conclusion. If you know the real nature of Krishna, you will find that the world contains nothing but him. Everything masquerades as if it is an object. But when you scrutinize it, you will find that it is also the divine. Vastutaha janatamatra. All very, very golden verses. Here Shukacharya says, Vastutaha janatamatra. Those who know exactly what it is made of, Krishnam sthasnu charishnu cha. What moves and moves not is all Krishna. Bhagavad Rupam Akhilam. Everything is Bhagavad Rupam. Nanyad Vastu Iha Kinchana. Nothing exists other than him. Saying this, that chapter concludes, Samashritaye Padapallava Plavam Mahatpadam Punya Yashomurare Bhavam Buddhim Vatsapadam Param Padam 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 Yad Vipadam Natesham. After this, the Kaliya Mardana comes, where Krishna dances in the hoods of that terrible serpent Kaliya. He just jumped into the Kalindi Nadi, Yamuna Nadi, where this poisonous snake is there. We also have to take the risk of jumping into our own heart, where the ego, ahankara ghorahi, as Shankaracharya says, that ghora sarpa called ahankara is sleeping. The moment you go and touch it, it raises its hoods. And when you try to live in the world, you will find that it takes innumerable hoods and dances in your life. You have to, Sureshwaracharya somewhere in his Vartika says, this Rajju Sarpa, you light and know that there is no serpent there. That knowledge is not enough. You have to take that serpent and put it in your neck. You have to dance in the hoods of that serpent. That is the revelation that the jnana is so perfect that nothing can disturb his awareness. In that state, nothing can corrupt, because you know that asango hi ayam purushaha, the self is ever detached. With that knowledge, you dance in the hoods of samsara sarpa. If it is not possible, our jnanam is very, very, very powerless. That is why we are not able to do that. Krishna is actually not doing some great feat. He is only writing a magnificent commentary to Bhagavad Gita through his life. He is telling, if you know Gita, this is possible. If you know Gita, you know that nothing can touch you, nothing can corrupt you, nothing can make you polluted. You will not be attached to anything. That he is revealing. The great Guru, says Shukacharya, when he is dancing in the serpent, Shukacharya says, Evam paribramahata ujasam unnatamsam anamya tat prathushiraswadhirudha adhyaha tanmurdharatna nikarasparsha atitamra padambujo Akhila Kaladi Guruhu Nanartha. Who danced? That great Guru danced. In the hoods of serpent, that Akhila Kala Adi Guru did that dance, and that dance is a great bhashyam, great commentary to Bhagavad Gita. He is telling, come on, the world is 1,000-hooded serpent. Your destiny is that serpent. Your life is that serpent. Today one problem, tomorrow another problem. It will never end. People sometimes ask, I want to really lead a spiritual life, but these problems, will they not end? They will end. By the time 4 people will take you to the cremation ground. It shows that you are alive. If you are alive, you have to finish one problem, another problem will be waiting there like a doctor's clinic. One patient goes out, another, at least this problem, after so many days you are familiar with the problem. The new one now you have to study. Then you will think the old problem itself was better because I was familiar with it. Now this new event, this new individual, this new emotion, I have to know how to handle it. Thus, one after the other, the hoods wake up, and then, if we take the bhakti, say, you invite Krishna to dance inside you. Let him come inside your heart and dance in the hoods of the serpent. Who is he? He is the Jnana Swarupa. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma. Let him come and dance inside you, and then this serpent of ego, this serpent of ignorance, this terrible looking serpent will disappear, and you will find a fragrant flower garland there. Usually they call the rope and snake, but certain Mahatmas, they have given the example of a flower garland mistook by somebody as a snake. When you put on the light, you see the snake is no more there. It is a beautiful, fragrant flower garland. Like that, this life with all manifold hoods of problems can never cease to exist. You worship all the gods, you go to all the gurus, you do archana in every temple, still the trouble will remain. Swami Vivekananda once told, you worship all the 33 crores of your gods, add to them the new invented gods from the Western world, those Englishmen have given you in those days, so, and worship them. then also your problem will not cease till you know the God inside you, which is your own self. Unless you wake him up, realize that inner self. So, that is what this Kaliya Mardanam is revealing to us. I have just made it the symbolic form of Vedanta. It's a very powerful symbol here. And it is not made by me, it is there in Bhagavata. This Kaliya, now we come to the story. After this Kaliya dance on this terrible serpent, all the wives of this serpent came and did a stuti. And Krishna said, you should not remain here, you go to some other place. First Krishna said, you are spitting so much poison in this water. That is why I did this. And Kaliya said, Krishna, if I am spitting poison, it is not my problem. You have given me poison. So I can only spit poison. If you have given me amrita, I will spit amrita. Vayam khalaha saha utpatyam. Genetically we are like this. Dirghamanyavaha, and also angry creatures. Swabhavo dustyajo natha. Very, very great lawyer, advocate he is for us. He is telling Bhagavan, you say change your character, change your character. It is very difficult to change one's character, Bhagavan. How can a serpent become a mild creature? It is not possible. That Swabhava cannot be given up. Then Bhagavan said, okay. This is also a great guidance. Certain Swabhava cannot be changed. When you live in a society, certain nature will be there. Small things can be changed, like you bite your nails, that things can be changed. Certain things, bad habits you take can be changed. But very deep rooted certain things are there. You become angry, sometimes suddenly you will not be a bad person. But certain things will come inside you. Through meditation, you recognize that this is my nature. Then one thing you can do, you can keep yourself in such a place that neither will you hurt others, nor will others create problem for you. So that is one thing that can be one way of handling this. So here Bhagavan said, go to Ramanakam Rajavaridhi Madhyakam Phaniripurna Karoti Virodhitam. Garuda will not give you any problem, so go to Ramanaka Dvipa. And because my feet has touched your head, now you are free. Bhagavan's feet has to touch our head. Then the ego is gone. Ego becomes powerless ego. Thus, the Kaliya Mardana is over, and let Bhagavan make our inside Kaliya also free. After this, in the Dashma Skandha, we have the Venugana, Bhagavan's that flute, that great music of his, which stirs the heart, which awakens the soul, which awakens that divine longing in the heart. That Venugana, hearing that, all the Gopikas became that divine pang, that love to attain him arose in them. That was Sharat. The water in the Yamuna was very crystal clear. Itham Sharat Swachha Jalam Padmakara Sugandhina Nyavishad Vayuna Vadam Sago Gopalakochutaham कुसुमितवनराजिषुष्मिभृङ्ग द्विजकुलघृष्टसरस्सरिन्महीद्रं मधुपतिरवगाह्यचारयङ्गाः सह पशुपालबलः चुगूजवेणुं तद्व्रजस्त्रियौ आश्रुत्य वेणुगीतं स्मरोदयं कश्चित् परोक्षं कृष्णस्य स्वसखीभ्योऽन्ववर्णयत्. That gopikas, that love is something which easily gives one the highest meditation and also renunciation. You usually see in world, when one girl is attached to a boy, she renounces her father, mother, house, everything and runs with him. Because that passion is so powerful that it becomes heedless to all other attachments. Hence here says, the moment that flute is heard, that passion arises in the heart. Smarodayam. Hearing that exactly that is given. That Shabda Brahma. Bibrabbarha pidam natavaravapuhu karnayoho karnikaram Bibradvasa kanakakabhisham vaijayantim chamalam Randhran venoho adharasudhaya purayan gopavrindaihi Vrindaranyam swapadaramanam pravishad gita kirtihi. When Gopika asked that Venu, that flute, what great fortune did you do? Because Krishna is keeping you in his lips. And music, such ecstatic music comes out of that flute. What great austerity did you do? And that flute said, please see inside me, nothing is there. I am hollow, hence holy. Completely you become hollow, then you become holy. All that obstructs the flow of the divine is removed from there. Like that, you become hollow, then his music comes through you. Suppose Bhagavan or a music artist wants to play in a flute. He decides to play a song and the flute decides something else. What will happen? He will break that flute. That is what is happening with us. He is constantly breaking and creating new. Because it is doing its own kacheri. It is doing its own concert. Bhagavan says, stop your concert, then my music begins. Cease to exist. Then I will be there. This is Bhagavatam, The Chatushloki Bhagavatam, which Bhagavan gave to Brahma, is Brahma said, give me teaching. Bhagavan said, this is the teaching that you do not exist. I alone exist. Remember that. This is Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Ahameva asam, ahameva bhavishyami, ahameva asmi. Nothing else exists. Other things appear to exist, but actually has no existence. This is the essence, the seed of Bhagavatam. Remember this and do creation or destruction or sustenance. Brahma did his creation with this Brahma Vidya. Vishnu did his sustenance with this Brahma Vidya. And Shiva dance the dance of destruction with this Brahma Vidya. Shankaracharya says, when he is dancing, it is not ordinary dance, it is Ananda Tandavam. Kim brumahat tava sahasam pashupate kasyasti shambho bhavad dhairyam cha idrisham atmanaha sthitihi iyam cha anyaihi katham labhyate brashyat devaganam Trasan Muniganam Nashyat Prapancham Layam Pashyan nirbhaya eka eva viharati ananda sandro bhavanam. When the entire world is being destroyed, he is dancing in bliss, in ananda. And what is the secret? Atmanaha sthitihi. That firm abidance in the self, in that Atmanishtha, neither destruction touches you, nor creation, nor sustenance. He remains absolutely free of any taint, taintless. Yasya na ahankrito bhavaha buddhihi yasya na lipyate hatvapi sayuman lokan nahanti na nibadhyate. This shloka we see in that Ananda Nadaraja, that Shiva, dancing Shiva. So here, when you are free of the ego, he happens through you. Swamiji was telling me a few hours before that nimitta matram bhava savyasachin in Gita, it is not that you become instrument to Bhagavan, you become a dummy. Knowing that he alone exists, you do not exist. He alone exists. So that is it. So here, that Gopikas are with so much bhava, they are describing Krishna's that bewitching beauty, that divine beauty, and they prayed to Divine Mother Katyayani that we want Krishna, we want Krishna. Namaste, namasye tvambike vikshnam. Rukmini also did that. Bhuyat patirme Bhagavan. Rukmini did that. Like that here Gopikas also, they did Katyayani Vratam. They also did a prayer and said, O Katyayani Mahamaye, Mahayogini, Dishwari Nandagopasutam, Devi Patim me kurute namah. So here, that Katyayani is that Chit Shakti, that Divine Mother. To her, they all prayed, give us Bhagavan, give us Bhagavan. Then Bhagavan actually happened in their life. First we see two examples are given in Bhagavatam. One is disciplined devotees. The other is reckless devotees. These disciplined devotees are these wives of the sages, that Viprapatni. They are very disciplined, they are chaste, they worship their husbands. Whatever they say, they will listen. They have heard all the Shastras and they are assisting them in the yaga. By the time they understand that it is not enough by simply becoming a good person, a disciplined person, a virtuous person, that is okay. You will gain good name. Everybody say you are a good person, good person, good person. But by that you will not attain God. There, but it took them to a state where they listened about Krishna. They came to know that Krishna is here somewhere nearby. We do not know when he will come to our house. Any day we might have a darshan of Krishna. And they were doing yaga in the Munjaranya. Krishna wanted to give them a chance. So he went there. The children, Gopas, they all said, we are very hungry, Krishna. Go and ask for food in that yagashala. When they went in the yagashala, the Brahmanas, the Rishis, they were all very busy. They didn't care. They were not bad people, but they had no time to pay attention to anything. They were on very serious karmanusthana. But when they went and asked that motherly heart, those women behind, they took all the food, everything, and rushed to see Krishna. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? They wanted to see Krishna. Samudramiva nimnagaha. Shukacharya says, like river, Ganga rushes to the ocean, like that they came to Bhagavan. Dirgha Shruta Dhritashayaha. They have heard so much about Krishna and their mind was longing to see him. Today they were fulfilled. And 2 verses there. These 2 verses are very important. Sometimes, generally in Bhagavat Saptaham, they will be doing Parayanam and I will be sitting, sometimes sitting, meditating or doing japa, listening to the Parayanam. Before the talks, each day or most of the day, some new verse will reveal. It is like that every verse is Bhagavat Swarupa and you do not know which verse will give darshanam. Because every verse is Bhagavan only. This is Vangmayi Murtihi. This is Shabda Brahma. So here, in these 2 verses, the story goes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hearing these 2 verses, he swooned in Samadhi. The Viprapatni, that they rushed to see Krishna and they saw this form, Shyamam Hiranya Paridhim Vanamalya Barha Dhatu Pravala Natavesham Anuvratamsi Vinyastahastam Itarena Dhunanamabjam Karnotpalalaka Kapola Mukhabjahasam. He was standing there, a cow was near. That blackish blue color of Krishna, wearing that golden pitambara. It was like a cloudy sky where you find a golden lightning flashing through. Vanamalya Barha. In his neck was all Vanamala. And there was a feather of a peacock. Dhatu Pravala, many tendrils were there. Many leaves were there in his body. Dhatu Pravala Nata Vesham Anuvratamse. He was dressed mysteriously. Vinyastahastam, one hand was kept on the shoulder of a gopa. And in another hand there was a lotus. And with that lotus he was twirling the lotus like this. And they saw that figure from a distance and there was a expanded smile in his face, seeing that they have heard so much. Prayaha Shruta Priyadamodaya Karnapurehi. Their 2 holes, that is the ears, they have filled so much and their mind is merged in him. Yasmin nimagna manasaha tatha akshirandhraihi antah pravishya. Now through the eyes that form entered within him and they hugged him inwardly, parirabhya tapam. And the example, what is given is very profound Vedantic insight is given. What happens when you see Bhagavan in form? It is not, although you are seeing a form, the experience is formless. It is same with a Jivan Mukta, with an Archavatara, with a Vibhuti, everywhere it is same. You are seeing Krishna there, and what happened is, just like when we sleep, in the deep sleep, the entire mind, all the thoughts rush towards the heart center, hugging the inner self, the divine self there, it merges there. Like that, their mind also went inside, embraced that Atmavastu, and just became absorbed in Samadhi. These are all not brought about meaning, it is crystal clear there. And Bhagavatam says, Taha Tatha Tyakta Sarvasha. All their desires were gone. Why did they come? praptaha atma didrikshaya. It is very clear. They did not come like the gopikas. They were very well educated. They came knowing that Krishna is Yogeshwara, and by his presence we can have the Atma Darshanam. So that mumukshutvam was there. With that they came. So the moment they came, Vijnaya, knowing that Akhila Drik Drashta, that Krishna is Akhila Drik Drashta, he is the inner witness of everyone. He already gave them that experience. The moment they came, that Atmanubhuti was given, bestowed. And then he said, Prahasita Ananaha, Praha Prahasita Ananaha. With a smile, he said, now you go back. This is not right for a family woman to do. Going outside to meet some other person, it is not good, go back. Then they said, you should not say like this. You know the Upanishads. Upanishads say that if you go there, you cannot return. So how can we go back? Satyam kurushva nigamam. That nigamam is your word. Veda is your words. How can you make it untrue? Satyam kurushva nigamam. Praptavayam tulasidama padavasrishtam keshai nivodum atilanghya samasta bandhun. Then Bhagavan blessed them. He said, you can go back. You belong to a class where you can live in your family and remain untouched in that state of samadhi. And your husbands, your relatives, they will receive you with love, with reverence, with bhakti. They will receive you, go back. That happened with them. That is why I called them disciplined devotees. They were received by their family people, and they said, we had such wives, such daughters in our family who have so much devotion to Bhagavan. We failed to recognize Krishna, but they recognized. Saying this, they were all received, kept very well. That is a good example. The next comes the Gopikas. They are all reckless devotees. Their devotion has no break, no curtailing thing. It is totally out of control. So, Bhagavan, that is sannyasa ashrama. One is, you can also find certain jnanis or perhaps even jivan muktas leading a householder's life, family life amidst that state, remaining untouched, very rarely. But sannyasa ashrama is that you give up everything, renounce everything. You listen only to that call of renunciation. Nothing matters. Wherever your worldly life is, you put it there and come. When the call comes, yadahareva virajet tadahareva pravrajet. That's all. The moment the call comes, put everything there and come. I have heard a story long back from a Ramakrishna Math Swamiji that in Calcutta, that Swamiji was living in Rishikesh actually. It was a long, about 25 years back I heard this story. That one person was going from his house to office. It was a government office in Calcutta. On the way, he heard somebody getting angry and firing someone. Then he looked up. In the first stair of a house, one person was firing his son because he was reading some book. Actually, it didn't happen like that. He was going to the office, one book fell on his head. He took that book, and it is Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga talks. And he saw a father firing his son because the son, after reading it, wanted to read a spiritual life. So he was saying, he was getting so angry. and he snatched the book and threw it out, and it fell on the head of this person going to office. He took that book and opened it, and he looked above and said, "Can I take this book?" "You take it and go," he said. He took that book and went to his office. Whole day was reading. Evening directly came to Rishikesh. After that he never spoke. I heard that story. He was Mauni, lived in absolute tapas, in renunciation. One call, one touch of the divine, total renunciation. And there might be many problems to solve, many things has to be solved, many things might be there, but it will look ridiculous. The call of the sublime comes in your life and you do something ridiculous to attain it. The divine calls you, you recklessly come to the divine. Certain people do that, but when they attain, everything is justified. When they attain, everything becomes justified. The greatest good can happen by the realization, by attainment of God. So Gopikas, they rushed to Krishna when they heard him play the flute. His Venuganam, it was a Paurnami, Sharat Kala Chandra. Yesterday it was Chitra Paurnami. Day before yesterday, one day passed. That Paurnami, very beautiful. And that Chandra, that moon, that silver light, it will spread out on Ganga. And the Ganga Tira, that mountain, that green forest, everything is just like spread by silvery carpet, silvery light of moon. Like that was Vrindavana. Bhagavana pitaratrihi sharadot pullamallikaha viksharantum manashakre yogamayam upashritaha. That Yogamaya is the power which pulls the devotees. Tadodu rajakka gubhakkarair mukham prachya vilimpan arunena shantamaihi sachashaninam udagat sujo mrijan priya priyaya iva dirgha darshanaha drishtva kumudvandvam akhanda mandalam ramananabham navakunkumarunam Vanam chatat komala gobhiranjitam jagam kalam 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 vamadrisham manoharam. That kalam tu madhura aspute. When you hear something very sweet, when a bird chirps, the chirping of the birds, the songs made by the birds, it's all so sweet, but there is no meaning. Certain people are obsessed with meaning. For everything they will ask, what is the meaning? You say Namah Shivaya, what is the meaning of Namah Shivaya? You say Namo Narayana, what is the meaning of... What are you going to do by knowing the meaning? Something sweet comes, you enjoy. In Carnatic music it is like that. Certain people cannot enjoy. The moment that song begins, they will be, what is the ragam, what is the talam? By the time they find out the ragam, the song is over. Life is like that, the music is there, you enjoy it. Don't probe the science behind it too much. Then it is kalam, 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 kalam. That Krishna's music was heard by Gopikas, and that Shabda awakened them. Ajagmuhu anyonyam alakshidodhyamaha. When you go to attain God, you do not take a companion. You just eat his ekarshi, says the Upanishad. Alone you walk. Bhagavata says, Eka eva charet tasmat kumarya iva kankana. You walk alone, this path is only for those who dare to move alone. In aloneness you move, to aloneness you move, that kaivalyam is aloneness. And your entire life, no companion here, no one can come with you. So, anyonyam alakshitodyamaha, neither your neighbor, nor your partner, nor your friend, anyone can even infer what is happening within you. Because the path is not outside, there is no path outside, it is something that is inward. There you are alone, no one can assist you to reach the divine. They moved alone to see him. And there is no time also. Worldly people will advise, not now, after retirement. Who knows, till then I will live. Any day death can happen, any time death can happen. But people they think that Ramakrishna says, they think that they are very clever. But they are like these crows which eat only the leavings in the street. And they dare to advise. As Swami Vivekananda wrote to one of his disciples, when she tried to advise him, he said, Mother, you are elderly, but you are all babies. Babies should submit to be taught. I have drunk from that potion which can make the world a zero. Logic, nothing. And man becomes God by drinking that potion. So don't try to advise me. So that kind of courage, that Veera Bhava. The worldly people should not be allowed to advise in this field. Otherwise they will create all problems. They will give you all kind of counselings. When the call comes, then you start the divine search. It is not that you have to run to some place, go to some place. No. The divine life has to be lived, started. Wherever you are, you have to start in whatever way you can, by doing japa, or by meditating, or reading good books, or doing atma vichara, or puja, or having satsanga, or everything. Collectively, somehow, manaha Krishna niveshayet. Keep your mind in Krishna, in Bhagavan. When should I do? There is no time. Some gopika came to Krishna when she was milking the cow. She put everything there and came. Duhantyo abhiyayuhu kashchid doham hitva. And one gopika was giving milk to her child. She put the child and came. Somebody was dressing, and vyatyasta vastrabharanaha. The ornament that has to be put in the ears, she put it in the nose. And that has to be put in the nose, she put it in the fingers. And looked like a buffoon. Just imagine, somebody goes to see another person, how beautifully they will dress. But all looking very funny. They dressed, came to Krishna because nobody is bothered. A sannyasi is like that. It's kashaya vastram. Kashayam is not kashayam. The Shastra says vivarnavasaha. Colorless, dirty looking dress. Somewhere he takes and wears it. It is for others. Somebody asked Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, Bhagavan, why are you wearing only a kaupina? Bhagavan said, what to do? Others want it. Even that I don't need. It is for others, I am wearing it. So for a real bhakta, one who is in that ecstasy of the divine, one who has got the divine call, he no more bothers about the world, he no more listens to the world, he is not bothered about keeping himself approachable. Sometimes you see siddhas, they look very dirty also. Like that they came to Bhagavan, and some gopikas, they were not allowed to come. They were kept under lock in the room. This also happens. Some people, they renounce everything and come. Some people are imprisoned by their prarabdha. The longing is so deep that I heard Swamiji telling me that he wanted to take sannyasa in his very younger age, and he told his father that I want to take sannyasa. Father said, you can go after my life. Then after that, his father lived for 3 or 4 decades. Only after that he could. So like that, prarabdha has its own restraint, its own, you can move only after that. So here, they were all locked inside. Dussaha preshta viraha. Inwardly you feel that longing for the divine. Even, great Mahatmas also had this. Even Swami Vivekananda, when he was in America, he never desired to go there and preach. His desire was only to remain in samadhi, in meditation. But when he went there, when he was preaching, there were periods when he was having so much pain. He writes in some letters, my heart is longing to wander. I am missing my tonsured head and kaupina and that ochre robe, and wandering in Rishikesh to see the Ganga in Rishikesh and drink that Ganga Jala and take only Madhugari Bhiksha, and that life I am missing. That was his heart. He was saying, I am missing that. Here I am imprisoned in all this luxury. I don't want this. So that is a kind of viraha. Viraha doesn't simply mean viraha for some form. That spiritual fragrance, when you are put in the worldly life, you feel fish out of water. As Narada puts it, tadarpita akhila acharata tad vismarane paramavyakulata. When you are forced to forget, a kind of longing, painful longing comes in the heart, that is paramavyakulata. So here these gopikas were like that. Antargata grihaha kaschid gopyo alabdha vinirgamaha. They found no door open. They feel the divine call, but they found no door open. All the doors in life, doors of prarabdha are closed, but the heart is panting. Dussaha preshta viraha. That viraha of one's beloved is unbearable, unendurable. And it becomes a fire. Tivra tapa dhuta ashubhaha. In that fire, sometimes this swing happens. Even for a yogi, this swing will be there. Sometimes some pain, causelessly pain comes, and you have to undergo pain. Sometimes, without any reason, a happiness comes in the mind. Sometimes the stress is there. Sometimes the bliss is there. When the stress is there, when you are made to cook something inside you, some pain happens, then that is the burning period of papa. And when you are having very happy anubhava, it is the burning period of punya. When both are burnt, neither elation nor depression, the mind remains quiet, placid, tranquil. Then neither papa exists nor punya exists. One is free of the golden chain and the iron chain. One is abiding in one's real nature. Here they say these gopikas were imprisoned and their papa was burnt. Inwardly they were meditating on Krishna, and in that joy their punya was also burnt. Both were removed and they became free. Dussaha preshta viraha tivra tapa dhuta shubhaha dhyana prapta achyuta ashlesha nirvritya kshina mangalaha jahur gunamayam deham sadhyaha prakshina bandhana. They became sadhyo mukta. That moment they were freed from all the bondage. Prakshina bandhanaha. Thus that gopikas came to Krishna in that night, in that dark night, in that full moon night. First Krishna said Swagatam. Then he said, as usual, he said, go back. This is not right that you should leave everything and come here. Your family people will be waiting for you. And some dharma upadesha he gave for a woman. Her husband is God. Whether he is beautiful, whether he is noble-natured, whether he is a diseased person, whether he is a character person, such a person must be worshipped. This many have done like that. So here Bhagavan gives that upadesha. Hearing that upadesha, this Gopika says, that is all okay till one hears your name. Till one is pulled by you. You are a great Pandit, great scholar. I know, we know. You spoke to us, taught about our dharma. Dharmavida tvayoktam. You are a dharmavid. You spoke so eloquently. Very good speech. Keep it with you. Astu evam etad upadesha pade tvayishe. Preshto bhavan. We will tell you one thing. You spoke to us Dharma Sutra, and now we will give you something back, that is Brahma Sutra. Preshto bhavan tanubhridam khalu bandhuhu atma. Undeniable. Now Krishna was defeated. They said, you say husband is important, wife is important, wealth is important, house is important. What nonsense. You know, have you read Brihadaranyaka Upanishad? And there the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Atmava are preshtatamaha. Vittat prayaha, putrat prayaha, sarvasmat prayaha. Na patyuh kamaya padihi priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya padihi priyo bhavati. The husband becomes dear because he reflects your self. Only for the self the husband becomes dear, only for the self wife becomes dear, only for the self wealth becomes dear. Even God becomes dear only for the self. And when you know the self, it is the preshtatama, the most dearest thing, and you are that self. Actually, we should not have come here. We know that you are the self inside. And these jnanis, you know, they are very intelligent. They never get attached to anything. Very profound words, you know. These gopikas are saying, they are saying, kurvantihi tvayi ratim kushalaha. These jnanis, they are all kushala. They are very dexterous people, very intelligent people. They never get attached to anything. They give their love only to you, that is in their own self. Swa-atman, nitya-priye. Because there is incessant bliss, incessant love is possible. But in all outside individuals, love comes and goes. One day you love, next day you fight. So this is all foolishness. All gives pain. Any outside individual, any outside ideal, any outside concept, any outside phenomenon, one day gives you happiness, another day gives you pain. All these mood swings will be there. We don't want that. We want to get established in that which is nitya priya. It is incessantly happy, incessantly peaceful. So Tanna prasida Parameshwara. O Parameshwara, be pleased with us. Maspachindyat. Don't cut this connection. Asham bhridam tvai chirada aravinda netra. For long, long, long period we have kept our asha, our heart in you, O Lord. Chittam sukhena bhavata apahritam griheshu yen nirvishati. The mind which has to get involved in the world, in the family, you just robbed it. And now we do not have a mind. We do not have an intellect. We do not have a self-will. So you alone exist. Our hand cannot work there. Our legs cannot move there. Nothing can happen there. So please do not give us up. Bhagavan heard this. Then there happened that Rasotsava, that blissful rasa of Samadhi Anubhava. But generally, in the spiritual life, in the beginning, there will be a heightened awareness, a bliss. And after some period, as they call it, the grace period. Actually, it is a spiritual word. In the grace period. In that grace period, you have that happiness, you have that bliss, and suddenly it goes away. Because the ego slowly, so it was sleeping. After a good sleep, it wakes up and says, oh, what is happening here? Oh, all good, it is all mine. It say, then the grace disappears. Like that, they had that bliss, and suddenly Krishna disappeared. This happens. Many people I have seen, they come to Tiruvannamalai. One person came to Tiruvannamalai and he said, Swami, it is so blissful, so happy. I feel I have attained. Now I don't want any mantra, japa or anything. Naturally I smiled because we have seen many people say like that. So I smiled. He said, why are you smiling? Nothing. After 4 or 5 months, he came back and said, everything gone. Because that was a taste was given to you so that you long for it. A glimpse was given to you so that you have that fuel to do sadhana, to bhakti, atma vichara. They were awakened and they were searching Krishna here and there. That frantic search. Somewhere that remembrance is there and you want to regain it. It's a phenomenon which happens in everyone's spiritual life. Somewhere you had a glimpse and you are searching with so much thirst and asking everybody, going to this ashram, that temple, reading this book, that book, trying in this sadhana and that sadhana. Even formerly you were doing some sadhana, go back to that sadhana. It's a very interesting period. People who have got an initiation and then become frantic, it looks very beautiful. One day they will speak Vedanta, next day they will go and do Kundalini Yoga. And after that, sometimes they will say, with a Nama, they will be doing Krishna Bhakti. After sometimes with Bhasma, they will be doing Shiva Bhakti. All kind of search will be happening. You see the seekers, sadhakas, many sadhakas. Just like Rishikesh, Tiruvannamalai is also a university. All kind of people will come. From all over the world they will come. You can see so many kind of seekers with various stages. Few years they will be like some stage, in another year they will be in a different position. This is all beautiful. They are seeking here, seeking everywhere, they are seeking the divine. This is what is here, pictured. These gopikas, they are asking Tulasi, did you see Krishna? Then they saw a mango tree. Did you see Krishna? Then they saw a pipal tree, a pipalavaksha. Did you see Krishna? Then they saw a cow. Did you see Krishna? Drishtovaha kachidashvatha plaksha nyagrodhavono manaha nandasunurgato hritva premaha savalokanaihi. By his glance, by his smile, by his presence, He has robed our mind. Oh, Plaksha, Nyagrota, Ashwatha, did you see that son of Nandagopa? Kachit Kurabaga Shoga, Nagapunnaga Champaka. All the trees, plants, all the flower trees, they are asking, oh Champaka, Kurabaga, Ashoka. In Ramayana, Bhagavan is seeking Sita like this. In Ramayana, you can see the same style. Rama is inquiring, where is Sita? Where Ashoka Shokapanuta Shokapahata Chetasam Tvannamanam Kurukshipram Sita Sandarshane Namam. It is different. See, there you can interpret, we are picturing the devotees longing for Bhagavan. If you take Ramayana like this, you can see the longing of Bhagavan to attain the devotee. To pull the devotee to him, that longing of Bhagavan to attain. When Parvati was doing intense tapas, Shiva was also sitting in intense tapas. And Kalidasa says, Kenapi kamena tapaschachara. Why did he do tapas? Who knows? His tapas is to pull her to him, to make her merge with him, and her tapas is to merge with him. So this is here as pictured, that is asking, Gopikas are inquiring, Kachit Tulasi Kalyani. Oh, Tulasi, auspicious one. Divine Tulasi, did you see Krishna? Kachit Tulasi Kalyani, Govinda Charana Priye, Sahatvali Kulair Bibrad Drishtasteti Priyochudaha, Malati Adarshivah Kachin Mallige Jati Yuthike, Pritim Vojanayan Yataha, Karasparshena Madhavaha. All that, some flowers were all in bloom, looks very happy. They say, certainly Krishna has walked this path, he has touched you, that is why you are all in thrill. Chuta Priyala, Panasarasana, Kovidara, all the trees, plants are all enlisted here. Jambuarka, Bilva, Bagulambra, Kadamba Nipaha, Yenye, Parartha Bhavaga, Yamunopakulaha, Shamsandu Krishna Padavim, Rahidatmanam Naha. Let all the plants, all the trees, please give us some hint, where is our Krishna? Where is our Krishna? And suddenly they saw a stag, a deer, and asked that deer, where is Krishna? Thus they were inquiring, they smelt a divine fragrance. It is the fragrance of a jasmine flower. And in that flower, there is Achyuta Gandha. That Krishna's Sugandha is there. And thus they searched. Krishna is, there is a fragrance of Krishna there. Vati Achyuta Gandha. In that breeze, there is a fragrance of Krishna. An aroma of Krishna is coming. There they searched, they found Krishna with another Gopika. And she was also left in the path. And she was also crying. Then they started, they didn't find Krishna there. But another Gopika was more fortunate. Krishna took her to some distance. She was also left there. And there all of them started singing. Jayati te dhikam janmana vrajaha shrayata indira shashvadatrahi daita drishyadam dikshutavakaha tvaidhridasavaha Tvam vichinvate sharadudashaye sadhujata sat sarasijodara shri mushadrisham suradanathate ashulkadasika varadanighnato nehakim vadham vishajalapyayad Vyalarakshasat Varshamarutat Vaidyutanalad Vrishamayatmajad Vishwato Bhayad Rishabhate Vayam Rakshita muhu. We know, Lord, you are not the son of Gopika. Nakhalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan Akhila Dehinam Antaratmadrik. You are the Antaryami of everyone. Vikhanasarthito Vishwaguptaye Sakhaudevan Satvatam Kule Tavakatamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinanti te Bhurida Jana. Thus they were singing and singing and singing, meditating on that beautiful form of Krishna. Atati yad bhavan anhikananam. When you go to forest in the day, trutir yuga yate, a few moments looks like a yuga. Without you, Twam apashyatam kutila kuntalam, your beautiful face, Shri Mukham chate jadavudikshatam pachmakridrisham. We have given up everything and come to you. In the dark nights, in the secret spot of the heart, you give us the knowledge of the self. Rahasi samvidam. That samvit is jnanam. Hrichayodayam. By your mere smile, the anubhuti comes. Prahasitananam. Prema vikshanam. Thus they were all calling for Krishna, and then Lord appeared before them. Iti gopya pragayantyah pralapantyascha chitradha rurudhuhu suswaram rajan Krishna darshana lalasa. They just cried and cried and cried, calling for Krishna. Before them he appeared. Tasa mavirabhut shaurihi swayamana mukhambujaha pitambaradharaha sragvi sakshad manmatha manmataha. So beautiful, he appeared before them and gave them all the bliss that they deserved. That highest experience was given to them. The teaching was also transmitted to them. They are the examples for the Jivan Muktas. And thus we saw the Rasotsava, Rasa Krida. Rasam is Rasam. What is this Rasa Krida? Bhagavata defines Rasa Krida in the Tritiya Skandha. The Tritiya Skandha, we need not even go to Sri Dariyam. Bhagavata itself defines Shashvat Swarupa Mahasaiva Nipita Bheda Mohaya Bodha Dishanaya Namah Parasmai Vishwodbhavastiti Layeshu Nimitta Leela Rasayate Namaidam Chakrumeshwaraya. That Leela Rasa, this Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, this entire creation is his Rasa. But to know that the world, this samsara, is the blissful experience of the divine, your ignorance must be removed. Your mind must be purified. The Atma Anubhuti must become crystal clear. Then there is no samsara. Jnate tattve kah samsara. When you have known the tattvam, no samsara. Till then samsara will be there. Shashvat Swarupa Mahasaiva, by the radiance of the Swarupa Jnana. Nipita Bheda Mohaya, all the Bheda Moha is removed. The delusion of separation, he, she, this, that, everything is removed. Nipita Bheda Mohaya, Bodha Dishanaya. That Bodha Dishana, that Atma Jnana becomes so clear. You are established in that Bodha Dishanaya Namaha Parasmai. Then this entire life, this creation becomes his Rasotsava. It becomes Ananda Utsava. It becomes no more there is sorrow, no more there is ignorance, no more there is Rajoguna, Sattva-guna or Tamo-guna. There is only that Atmanubhuti there. Then prapancha prapancham nishprapanchopi vidambayasi bhutale prapanna janatananda sandoham prathitam prabhu. Jananta eva jananto. Brahma says those who deserve to know it, let them know. Otherwise it is not possible to know. Those who deserve to know it, let them know. So that is Rasotsava, that Rasa Krida. We have seen that. Now Kamsa woke up, came to know that Krishna is there. He is Vasudeva's son. Then he sent Akrura, a great devotee, to bring Krishna back to Vraja, Mathura. Then Akrura was a great devotee. All night he could not sleep. He was always longing to see Krishna, but he could not go because if he goes, Kamsa will come to know. But now Kamsa has given him this job to go and bring Krishna. So he said, Kamsaya namostu. Kamsa, a namaskara to Kamsa, because of him, I got this benefit. Whole night he was in bhava. And next day he went in a chariot, whole way was meditating on Krishna. And when he saw Vrindavana, he jumped from the chariot and rolled in the mud. Aho Prabhoho Padarajamsi Amun. This is Padarajas. This is Vrindavana dust. It is sacred, it is holy because it is touched by Krishna's feet. And he rolled there. Then he saw Krishna and Balarama, like a blue cloud and a lightning. He saw Krishna and Balarama there, fell flat before them and worshipped them. Then they took him home. There, of course, we know the sorrow the Gopikas came to know. They felt this Akrura is not Akrura, he is Krura, he is Atikrura. Who gave him this name Akrura? He is Adikrura. He is separating us from Krishna. He is taking Krishna away. But he had to do. He took Krishna with him. Balarama also followed. In that chariot, on the way, on the banks of Yamuna, he had a vision of Ananta Shai, Ananda Rupe, Nijabodha Rupe, Brahmaswarupe, Shruti Murti Rupe, Shashanga Rupe, Ramaniya Rupe, Sriranga Rupe, Ramatam Manome. Like that, he had an Ananda Padmanabha Darshana on the way. He had that Samadhi Anubhava. Then Krishna entered Mathurapuri. And in Mathura, he walked the streets of Mathura. First, he gave his blessing to that Sairandri, that Dasi of Kamsa. She was a devotee. She gave all her cosmetics to Krishna. But her body was deformed. He blessed her and she attained a beautiful form. And then he moved, had some encounter with some other people also. Then the great elephant Kuvalayapida was sent by Kamsa. Krishna killed that Kuvalayapida, took the horns of that Kuvalayapida. And then Chanura and Mushtika, that great boxers, they came and he had a fight with them. They were also killed and entered that Ranga Pravesha, Mallana, Mashanihi, Nrinam, Naravaraha, Strinam, Smaro, Murtiman, Gopi, Gopanam, Swazanaha, Asadam, Shidibujam, Shasta, Swapitroho, Shishuhu, Mrityuhu, Bhojapatehe. Each one looked at Krishna according to their bhavana. But Kamsa did not see Krishna. He saw only a buffalo and a yama sitting in it. Mrityuhu bhojabatehe. He did not see anything else. And then he screamed, kill this Gopa's son, all those things. Suddenly Krishna jumped and caught hold of his hair and pulled him down and made him lie down and kept his blessed sacred feet on his chest. And there Kamsa saw Dadarsha Chakrayudham. So blessed was him. So many years he was meditating powerfully. Always he was meditating on Krishna. Now Tadeva Rupam, the same form with the Chakrapani, he saw in front of him and merged in the Lord. That Kamsa had that such a blessed death That was a Sambrambha yogi. He was a Sambrambha yogi. And he got Krishna Darshana and attained Krishna. Thus, after Kamsavadha, we have that Gopika Geetam, that Brahmara Geetam, and some points we will touch in our next talk, and we will have some mention about the Ekadasha Skandha. And thus, we will have an auspicious Samarpana of this Bhagavata Yajna in the feet of Gurudev Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj and Krishnanandaji's memory, and in the presence of Ganga Mata, in this blessed ashram where Parama Bhagavatas like Swami Chidananda Saraswati Maharaj were there. Here we had this blessed 7 days of Bhagavatam. Night we will see by 8 o'clock. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Yato mamatma bhavasi tvameva, tato na vachyam mama kinchitasti, yathataveshtam kurumam tathaiva tvam atmanatham ramanam bhajam.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. 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 Shri Krishna